What would it take for you to walk out of the door of your house with nothing, run through violence on the streets, and then walk to another country with no food, property, or money? To a place that is already desperately poor, where you don't speak the language. What terror would have to happen for you to do all this, leaving your 3-year-old daughter behind?
Horrifying accounts of human rights abuses continue to emerge from Ethiopia's northern Tigray region.
Reports of atrocities and food shortages.
The UN says without significant help, things could deteriorate.
دم كفيلة نتنت مش حزين My name is Hafton Kidu. When I was in my country, I was leading my life in good way. Just when the war is happened, I came here as refugee people. I don't have a full information about my family. They are in life or they are died. So in case of this one, yeah, I came here alone.
In late 2020, war broke out in Ethiopia's Tigray region. Tens of thousands of people, like Haftam, fled to camps in Sudan, where they remain, with no prospect of going home. More than 1 million people are displaced inside Ethiopia, and propaganda from both sides makes it hard for outsiders to know what's going on. Phone and internet service has also mostly been cut in Tigray, and roads are often closed. When we travel through Tigray in mid-2021, families tell us they collected the bodies of civilians from the streets and buried them in mass graves. They say their homes and businesses have been looted. Hospitals are full of war injured, including children as young as 4. Gabre is a farmer who owns a little bit of land and 2 cows in a town that has been fought over for months. After what he says was a massacre of civilians, it took him 3 weeks to get his daughter to this hospital. Almost all the healthcare centers in Tigray have been damaged, destroyed, or looted. Every parent we speak to here says the same thing. Their children barely survived. But they did survive. So many other children did not. Families that managed to flee across the border in early 2021 are scattered, and most refugees we meet in the camps have missing loved ones.
The hardest are the people which have not like family, like their fathers, like their mothers, like their sisters, their brothers. They leave some guys alone, you know. They eat, but they think about their family. Maybe some of them they die. When they think about them, they become sad.
This boy does not know where his family is.
My father is my brothers, they go to bring my brother.
أنا حاولت حاول كتام تخيدس إلا ده طريق بجزء قلف عشان نخيده تجزأنا شديد ومش فراسة تجزأنا أنا بتدهر تجزأ وأمر كبر سينير تقبل مسار أنا بعاني زرع أخوة ها سميتو أموران ده بالعري أنا
Michaela Haftu was an artist in Tigray before he escaped with his pregnant wife and small daughter.
مدافع نربعة معلت مس وعلى لومي تطيبل صباح تطيبل تبلنا تطيبلا بدحريو سلمت مسبلة سلمات مسكونة مدافع خذ تربي خذ كوسي يقولون يوم بدحريو مول ليتي مسزابة مس أتمان مستنكر بعيدنا تدفعنا مس أكاتنا تدفعنا موت نس سبيت حيزة لك مستوقع عزنا دخيماتني متعمد هم واقعا بكسنا أتاتا مصر خفوئنا رينا خباتاتا نخلو نري أمرلنا مرن زارا يرى بوم يا تولدي أنا على بوم حمارة في شنو؟
Have you listened? Kite Fatiru?
In the rush to escape the war, other parents we meet lost their children.
شمي زفافته بعد زنبرو لبوتا بآخر سرح انت مرتين زمت أخلو حمارة ختامة نس سرحت لمدي أو استور ويكعاء أو انتاي زبهر نبرت كفلي تمرت درجة ديجري لمزان تمرأت نيرا بأكاونتي and finance.
When Zafu was awarded a scholarship, her husband was angry that she would pursue her education and abandoned her. So Zafu left her daughter in Bakr with her mother while she studied and worked to support them.
أنا قلنا تمرتي قبل كقولت فلي بزترحمنا يجزي مرة حقوس تهون نع أخبرك عزي جورة نجاري تيلر نبع خربة هم مكيرة ناوقالي نبع خربة كيرة جن أبع خر كبير مسارة غيره نقول لهم المامي تحد وتادر أو يوم نيرو بتعمل شجر ويوم نيرو أفتشع ساعات نا أي كذا كنينا خالي لهم كل كلامنا مكينا يلا ولا سوي له كل وقت أتاهينه برجع كون بقرون أتيهم بتيون مستأتاتو تم استخار كلهم جزاء أي صدقني حزم نبوات أم بقى عاوي بتعمل حمراون سلسة دبداب سمسوزها تم سو جزاء حزم نمت أو نحمدايت منهم كرشي نورنن بناتهم يسقع حمدايت سلست معلتي بناتهم مقبيت أني أنت غدا نعمتي دوكمنتو نايت مرتين نسرحينون أمسح أنا بيني أحكم إذن كفتم زولكم حدا سوي مسألة مالتي بتعمل صقام سلسة نارا أفتش ساعات متقللاش زدت هذا هم كل جزء نيري مقبي أبيني سكع حمشة معش جماعة خيال عهو ما كده قبرت عادي
Every person has his own ambition. He needs to be successful. He need to lead his life in the best way. But when he gets setback like this war, when he maybe lose his lovers, his girlfriend, his family, his friends, his mother, his fathers, it becomes hopeless. Just he does not care about his life. Even when he going to be die, he don't care. Even Zarad's child is like a baby under 1 year old. They do not get enough water, even enough food. They may be sick, no one can give for some treatment in the hospitals. When I look like this one, I feel sad, Just I don't have capacity, but if I have, I need to help them.
Christian Ethiopian refugees in Sudan celebrate the holy day of Epiphany. Ethiopia is religiously diverse, but the country's divisions are seldom blamed on religious differences. This war, and so many other conflicts in Ethiopia, is between ethnic groups, or perhaps more accurately, as locals often explain, between powerful men who use ethnic divisions to stoke conflict and gain power. Johannes Negusa is a priest who fled Tigray as bombs exploded near his home in Humera.
حاله جتا إيلو أنا سلامة وسأزخونكم بسلامة كموتهم نوارو إنت سلامة أنا بسلامة تأمت بس في قرية تأمت نوارو سلازل سأبي أي فكر عن توقلت لكم نيرة سأبي أي فكر هذا أزمة إحنا ضعتين فترة بعدها أنا فترة إحنا
But in Aksum, the city believed to be the birthplace of Christianity in Ethiopia, locals tell us it is terror, not weakness, causing the chaos. Hundreds of people were killed in Aksum as Ethiopian and Eritrean forces swept through the region. Locals told us varying details about what happened, ranging from mass shootings to house-to-house raids. Consistent in every person's story, however, were descriptions of so many bodies. Amnesty International later described what happened in Aksum as possible crimes against humanity. Tigray has endured many other war crimes, the organization also says. Thousands of civilians have been killed, and the economy is decimated. By mid-2021, famine was already underway, with fears emerging that hunger could be used as a weapon of war. And this is not the first time. In the 1980s, the world watched as war and famine ravaged Ethiopia. More than 300,000 Ethiopian refugees fled to Sudan then, most of them from Tigray. In the camps, many of the refugees are returning for the second time. As hard as it was then, they tell us, it is, in some ways, even harder now.
هذا سبعة أربعة ثانية سبعة مرة دكا ليه موتاي ونحكان سوق دماغها زرقح الخاطريو ناقويها بدي خوين بدي قتلوه زرقح لي وقت موت فرفر لا تريو سيدا تايم من لا أخذ أفيكم أنا لولي بالله اللي أنا معقولة مركبنا ومساتنا.
Decades of war ended in 1991 with the toppling of a repressive military government. A Tigrayan military fighter, Meles Zenawi, emerged to lead a new government of ethnic federalism, which divided the country along ethnic lines. The Ethiopian economy grew fast, but political repression continued. Territorial disputes with neighbors, including the newly independent Eritrea, once part of Ethiopia, turned into armed conflict. Resentment grew of Tigrayans, who make up 6% of the population, but the Tigrayan elite dominated the country politically. After Meles's death in 2012, a period of unrest continued until 2018, when a young ethnic Oromo, Abiy Ahmed, rose to power. He made peace with Eritrea and instituted democratic reforms, earning him a Nobel Peace Prize the following year. But when Tigray held local elections in defiance of the central government, a simmering rift quickly escalated. In November 2020, the government accused Tigrayan forces of attacking a military base and launched an offensive. The central government, backed by Eritrean forces and Amhara militias, is fighting Tigrayan regional forces and militias. Both sides have claimed the other started the war.
Amhara people, they told for the Tigray, we are supporter of you. We are supporter of you, they told. And Tigray people, they told for the Amhara people, we are supporter of you. So when we come to this one, how they can make peace between them?
The hostility is real, but it is fueled by cyclical violence and leaders encouraging animosity for their own gain, not ancient hatreds. Tigrayan and Amhara people have lived together in peace and intermarried for as long as anyone can remember.
سبيدي أمهاري ديا أنا تقرأي هجي سبيدي ناو عدا أنت عدا استنكفا إلا كنت نبرت خليها أنا جن ناو عدا أنت عدا أنا موت مخاني رقص أني مخانا تفلت الله.
When people get to the camps in Sudan, it is often not clear how to get shelters, food, and water, or if it's available at all. Haftum rarely has extra money from the small jobs he picks up around the camps, so he tries to help people by sharing information.
I need to help. Just when I help the people, my brain, it gets peace, you know. My brain, it becomes in a good condition, you know. Even I believe when you good things, that good things, it come back to you. If cannot be come back to me, they can be come back to my child. They can be come back to my family, even to all my countries. So helping for the people is the first interest of me.
It's a principle he's held since before the war, when he worked to improve business and agricultural practices for farmers like his parents. But finding help is especially difficult for those who are already disabled or sick, like Michaela and his wife, who are HIV positive.
ናይ መድሓኒት መስገን ጌታ ያቋርፅንን ዝጋ ሕጂ ይወስድ ኣለኹ እየ
ትረክብ ለኻ ምግቢ ገለታት ኸ
ምግቢ የሎ ወይን ኣይመፅን ምናልባት ሓደ ሕጂ ከምቲ ብቐዳማይ ንስኻ ዝሃብካና 500 ገለ ሰብ ተይብን ምክንያቱም ኣነ ኖርማል ምግቢ ኣይበልዖን እየ ናሃቶም ዘምፅኡ ምግቢ ብጣዕሚ ምሳይ ምስ ዘሎ HIV ምንም ኣይስማዕማዓናን
بالا يكون شرقانة يكون جلس تمسرانات جلسات يوم حجزهم مسحنا زمينا نمبر تقلل زوجين أساس روحي يكون هناك كريه خلاص من بقى حدا حمش سبب حدا جزع أنا حمي بأسو أنا حمي قلا
تقول من تعرفين لا يجي تمال عبيرك سامسيلكا ها أما نيتمن أقول لهم مش تمشيت مع عسكر ها هذا كان يلا مش نقول متعودي ها حد راح مرة كبرت على بسكم متصاحبين
زي أبودادو زي ولهم دكتات قال زبل إن شاء الله organizations كما يسوي فنايب لك عندي فكرة.
ده مولي أمي.
Even if he could get in, Nahom says he doesn't want to stay with an organization. He says that the children are not free to roam the camp, and he's heard they don't get enough food. Haftam takes another boy, 16, who is alone in the camp to the organization. And he too is told they have as many children as they can support.
So he has not family. They said for us. We cannot do anything now.
Even Haftam, who positions himself as someone to help the most vulnerable, sees no future for himself here in the camp, in Sudan, or in returning to Tigray.
I lose my home, even my document. Just I have already graduated. Just when I go back to my home, really I cannot get my document. Really, they already burn out. They can throw it on the road. Just that's give me like hopeless, like this, disappointed.
كاو عد سلام كويني لك عن عدي أتينا أو عد أتينا أنت نوك عاد مالت تزنورنا حزنا زعتنا غيرنا تقيم مسكال زهوتنا غيرنا تقايمنا داقمين خاعتفنا قلنا قد حجونا دي حواتا سينا كم زناتي تاريخ حجونا بايتا دقيمة سلازي انت رخيبه يومون داك عيزنا وزيخ متصمبر او خنبر دلت يبلي.
World leaders have accused all parties, the Ethiopian military, the Eritrean military, and militias associated with the Tigray and Amhara parties of human rights abuses. But government forces and their allies have been accused of mass murders, forced removals, and ethnically motivated violence, including systematic mass rape. Hundreds of women and girls from across Tigray have reported being raped by soldiers, and aid workers say there are likely many, many more who have kept silent out of fear, shame, or just lack of access to any kind of health care. The stories they tell us are eerily similar. Soldiers came to their houses, demanding to know where a husband, father, or brother was, insisting he was a rebel fighter. When the man did not appear, a wife, daughter, or sister was attacked.
أنا يفلت مسخاتهم يجي يوم لما نكون هم الخدا أنا الفلت أنا قريب لك كعسرة روعة مستفى يلي يدرس لي فلتي كعسرة روعة كم صوت
أو بعمته كاتنا إذا عميتهم زعل على تخلالة كاتماريسهم ما يلي نيرة له ما يلي حزم كخيرهم.
The Ethiopian government has arrested dozens of soldiers accused of rape, but has mostly been silent on the issue. The government has also acknowledged many other abuses, but blames Tigrayan forces, who it designated a terrorist organization. For many refugees, returning to Tigray is not an option. Some fear the conflict could even spread to the camps.
ኣብ ቴሌቪዥን በተደጋጋሚ ንሪኦ ዘለና ከም ጀነራላት ኣብ ስደት ዘለው በኃይል እውን ክንወስዶም ኢና ኣለው ደለውን እውን ኣይፍለጥን ሕጂ እውን ንሕና እውን ህይወትና ኣብ ሓደጋ ኣሎ ዓለም ሓቂ ትሰምዕ ትፈልጥ እንተኮይና መፍትሕ ትግበረልና.
Rights organizations and other leaders have called upon the Ethiopian government to hold peace talks. But the conflict continues as alarming reports of extreme hunger and famine emerge amid fears the humanitarian crisis will continue to deepen.
ካብ ዓድና ተባሪርና ካብዚ እውን በርዶ ኣብዚ እውን ክንቀተል ይፅበይና እንተ ኮይኖም ኣነ እንደ ዓለም ዓቢራ ኣላ ዓይና ማለት እዩ ክልቲኡ ዓይና የለን ማለት እዩ
كافت صلماتي موت نسيقا مسوصي دم كفيلة ناس نت مش حاجة جقالو كفيلة زم صوت السرعات تقرأ حلولي ولا بتلقى جقالو كفيلة زم صوت السرعات تقرأ حلولي